Thank you very much to accept our interview from Gasco.com. First of all, can you briefly introduce your company to China?
Introduce my company.
Yes.
Oh yeah, thank you. My pleasure to have the interview today. Dana Corporation is a global automotive manufacturing company with over 100 years of experience. We have been in China now, or in Asia Pacific, for over 40 years, and we have operations in China, in Taiwan, and in Shenyang, in Fuzhou, and in Wuxi. Our company provides automobile and commercial vehicle parts in terms of axles, prop shafts, thermal products, which are oil coolers, structural components, and sealing gaskets.
Okay, thank you. How many factories? When did you enter China market?
We started in 1992 with a joint venture in Shenyang. We followed that with a joint venture in Fuzhou. And in Wuxi, in 2000, we established a wholly owned facility. We have a Shanghai representative office, and that's what we have.
And those factories, in local markets, you build these local factories in order to offer better service for China market, or as a manufacturing center to export outside.
I think each of our factories were established in China with the intention of growing the domestic China market business. That's been good for us, but we also then have utilized those operations as a base for export of components and product to other Dana global facilities.
For those factories, do you also have your own R&D center in China?
We use, each of those factories belong to different Dana business units, and they utilize the engineering and R&D centers around the world, but we do not have currently in China an R&D center.
So you bring the major technology into this area and manufacture it?
Yes.
Did you have any future plan for make the R&D research?
I think as our business in China grows, and as the needs of the domestic automakers becomes more and more important, it will become necessary for Dana to establish an R&D center to support our partners and our business in China. So yeah, I think it will happen.
We also interviewed the Magna in their plan that in the year of 2009, the China business will exceed more than 19% to their global business. So what's the Dana's plan?
We don't think in terms of plans of percent of our global business, but I think that by 2010, that China, in terms of China, will be important for us in support of our global business as a low-cost manufacturing center. In terms of the best domestic production, I imagine that Dana will approach 10%.
Do you also purchase something in China to the global business?
Of course, we have a sourcing office in China that supports Dana Global operations, but we also use our own operations to support our own global operations.
What's your main clients in China?
We have a number of customers, of course. Jinbei Passenger, Southeast Motors. We support Dongfeng Liuzhou, Zhengzhou Nissan. We now have business with Shanghai General Motors and soon with John Leech Motors. So we supply over 30 domestic Chinese automobile manufacturers.
During your contact with those local OEMs, do you feel anything different?
I think especially, and you can see it at the auto show this year, is a very good example, is that the level of quality of the vehicles just continues to go up, and there's less and less of a gap between the difference between a Chinese manufacturer and a global OEM. And that's good for us to see, and we're just glad to be a part of that.
Do you have anything you want to say to the Chinese suppliers?
There are some good suppliers out there, and at the end of the day, we recognize them as good competition. And for us, us, it's going to be on a global basis. The people that will survive and do well are those that can provide a high quality product with a good price and on time. And so,
how do you think of the China commercial vehicles industry?
I think the China commercial vehicle industry is changing rapidly. I think it's improving their capability, and I think it's good. And I think that some of the efforts that we're working in terms of our partnerships with Dongfeng Motors is a good example of how Dana perceives us as being an important part of the global marketplace.
During your working in China, do you face any challenges?
I think China in itself is a big challenge. I think the thing that I find exciting about China, and the biggest challenge, is that things move faster in China than they do anywhere else. And if it's not just a matter of being able to do what the customers demand, but being able to move as fast as the customers demand. And I think that that's the challenge.
Okay, thank you, John. We also hope Dana can make great achievements in China market as well as global.
Oh, thank you so much. It's my pleasure.